Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to summarize the chapter Silk Road by Nick Middleton. Silk Road is a travelogue which presents a panoramic view of Mountain Kailash and describes the travails of the difficult journey that is undertaken by the author. The whole story, the whole account also captures the scenic beauty of the mountain and that of the path leading to it. The author describes breathtaking beauty with picturesque phrases. He uses very beautiful language to describe the beauty of the journey. Silk Road is about the author's journey, and it starts from slopes of Ravu to Mount Kailash. And the author undertakes this journey to complete the Kora. As the Indians go on the pilgrimage journey, likewise the author goes on the journey of the Mount Kailash as a Kora. So an account of the journey experienced by the author, and the main aim of the journey was mostly religious. The author hires Satan and takes along Daniel. I'll be describing the characters to you. So they take him to Darchan, a place leading to complete his Kora. And finally, he mentions how the people in hilly areas are very sensitive. He even goes on to witness the beauty of Lake Mansarovar in Darchan and faces a lot of difficulties, but is able to complete his pilgrimage due to his unmoved faith. Now, this is what is referred, the red line that you see on the screen is what is referred to as Silk Road. Now the question is why this chapter is titled the Silk Road. This we need to see. Because the road that the author travelled on in Tibet while going towards Mount Kailash, this road was part of important network of roads used in ancient times to do trading. Mostly it was silk trade, silk that came from China. China was very famous for its silk. So this chapter is called Silk Road because in those times, in those ancient times, silk trade was carried out using these routes. And the whole network of roads connected East Asia with Southeast Asia, East Africa, West Asia and Southern Europe. The Chinese traders exported silk made in their countries to other countries through these routes, and that is why the title is the Silk Road. This you can use as the justification of the title as well. Now let us know something about the characters of the story. The first and foremost is Nick Middleton, the author. He is a professor of geography at Oxford University and is an environmental consultant. He wishes to do Kora to Mount Kailash. Then comes another character, Satan. He is the owner of the car which is hired by the author for the journey. He is also a tourist guide. Then there is Norbu. He is a Tibetan working at an academy in Beijing who wants to carry out the pilgrimage to Mount Kailash. In the end, Norbu and the writer, both of them decide to carry on the journey together, the pilgrimage together. Daniel is an interpreter from Lhasa who travelled part of the time with the author. He did not travel the full time. He left for Lhasa in between. Now the highlights of the chapter, the main value points. Nick Middleton along with Daniel leaves Ravu for Mountain Kailash driven by Satan, and on the way he wears or he's with the sheepskin coat that is gifted to him by Lamo, as you can see on this screen. Lamo is a native girl there, and she gifts this dress, the coat to the writer. Along with him you can see Satan the driver and Daniel who's a co-passenger. So journey begins with the break of the day. In the beginning, the writer decides to take a shortcut to get off the Changtang place. The route would take directly towards Mount Kailash. This route involved crossing high mountain passes and snow stretches which could present difficulty. But Saturn said that there will be no difficulty if the journey would be without snow on the way. The journey would be smooth. As they passed by the hills, they crossed vast open plains. They came across gazelles and herds of wild asses. Now, what are gazelles? They are the species of antelope. Then they moved from rocks to hills. While moving from rocks to hills, the rocks to the hilly areas, they came across drokbas looking after their sheep. And these flocks of sheep, they run away to avoid their approaching vehicle. After they passed the drokba tents, they saw alert huge black dogs which were guard dogs to keep vigil for the drokba tents. These were called the Tibetan Mastiffs, and they were bold, fearless, and they chased their car for some distance. As they were moving in their journey, the steep soon became, sharper. There was a steep ascent in their journey now. This route was close to a wide river with ice in it. There were sharp turns, there were bumpy rides, and the car could move only in the third gear. The sudden and unexpected fall of snow blocked their way a number of times. The first blockage was a 15-meter stretch of drifted snow. There was no possibility of driving around this patch of snow, so there was fear of slipping on this patch. Satan did drive over the patch safely after covering it with soil. The second blockage they came across was another stretch of ice. It was a steep slope scattered with huge rocks. Satan drives around the snow skillfully and drives to safety finally. Now this rapid ascent passed 5,400 meters. The ascent gives Nick, the author, throbbing headache. He felt pressure building in his ears like it builds up in our ears when we move in the mountains. He gulps water to stand the ascent, to stand the steep, sharp turns. Then they reach top of the pass at 5,515 meters. Following the tradition, they go round the cairn of rocks in clockwise direction. You can see in the picture Nick Middleton taking rounds of this rock. And Satan checks tires and petrol tank. Further, they drive down the other side of the pass. Nick's headache gets relieved. They take lunch near Dry Salt Lake, which is quite a hub of activity, the Salt Lake. Now, after passing through the top of the pass, they went down to reach the small town of Hor. Daniel leaves for Lhasa after fixing the punctured tires. Hor is on the shore of Lake Mansarovar, and there they reach, this is a sacred lake, there they reach by late afternoon. This place is an open-air rubbish dump, the place that they reach. They reached Darchen at around 10:30 p.m. and found a guest house to stay in. The author this night had a very troubled time because he was suffering from cold, and his cold triggered on way to Darchen. He has a sleepless and breathless night in Darchen. His one nostril gets blocked, chest becomes heavy, wakes up abruptly. He is very afraid to sleep. So lying down for him was troublesome, and sitting posture helped him. Satan finally takes Nick to consult a doctor at the Darchen Medical College. So he has, in the picture you can see, he has troublesome night, headache. So here he comes to the Darchen Medical College, which is more like a monastery, and even the doctor there was with no paraphernalia of a common doctor that we see, that coat, white coat and stethoscope. It was not there. It was more like a monk. The doctor was more like a monk. So Setan takes him there to Darchen Medical College, gives the medicine. The doctor gives him Tibetan medicine. Nick responds well to medicine. After this, Setan left the author in Darchen and went back with the car to Lhasa. In Darchen, after Setan left, Nick Middleton was facing a language barrier. He couldn't communicate because no one understood or spoke English there. Darchen did have a couple of general stores, and Darchen was a relaxed and unhurried place. So, as the pilgrim season had not started, the author felt very lonely there. He was looking for someone who could speak or understand English as well as accompany him to do the Kora. And finally, he meets Norbu. Norbu is a Tibetan working in Beijing in Chinese Institute of Ethnic Literature. He had also come there for Kora to Mount Kailash. Both of them decide to climb together, though both are equally ill-equipped for the pilgrimage. They have each other's company for the Kora, and the suggestion to travel together came as a relief to both of them. So, dear students, I hope you've understood the story, the main points of the story, and take care, stay safe.